Hello and welcome back. Guess who's back? My name is Chris. I'm joined by Kat Arnsby. How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely awesome. How was your break?
It was good. I had a couple of cigarettes. I had a bit more drink. It's all been great. We're having a great time.
We are having a great time. It's good to have you guys back as well. If you want to join us, if you're looking the stream from Facebook and you want to join the conversation, come over to twitch.tv/thrillofpoker and just type in whatever you want, and we will try to read it out or at least be in conversation with you. We are down to 5 players, which you would expect is the later stages of the tournament. All the players have guaranteed themselves 9,000 euros, and we're playing for 35,000 up top. The players were thinking about making a deal, but I can tell you right now that they did not agree on a deal. For at least a while, they want to continue on playing, with the blinds being 30,000 and 60,000.
Boom, Bostock straight into it.
Straight into it with 10-9 suited, and straight up gets shoved on by Anger. And no way Bostock calls this one. I think Bostock cannot call 15 big blinds or 16 even from
Yeah, well,
Anger.
we're at 30-60 now.
And Anger is soaring, roaring, and just climbing the ladder. And the chip counts now up to 1.2 million. He's been down to like 300,000 most of this final table. So things are looking better. Things are definitely looking better. Lazarova, our shortest stack with 14 big blinds and 870k. Still quite a decent chip stack, so doesn't have to put it in every single hand, but you need to make something happen. Definitely.
I mean, I don't know much about football, but if this were a football match, do you think that Anger would be voted man of the match? Is that a fair analogy? I mean, I don't even really understand what man of the match is, but he's been the most emotional.
I think the man of the match should be decided after the match is over. I think we're still very much into this. I think we might have reached the half-time point.
Right.
And we still have plenty to go for, but he's still definitely in a route to winning that man of the match, because he's a fighter for sure.
Yeah.
And he hasn't made it easy for anyone. He has been lucky when he needs to. He has been having the best of it as well, so the time will only show. In my eyes, still, Bostock is the top contender for man of the match. He's one of the players who has been trying to make things happen, moving the chips around, putting players in tough positions, as you might have noticed, where his opponent was considering folding queen high flush to his shove. So he's definitely trying to make things happen. So keep an eye on Bostock from UK, our long-time chip leader.
Yes, since the start. It's never been a point where any player in this tournament has had a larger stack than Bostock.
Nope. And
which
that
is a nice feeling.
Yeah, we say that after he has lost a couple of big pots in a row. So Bostock still playing well, running decently, and making things happen. But anything is possible. Anything is possible. The chat, they haven't written it, but the chat told me that they want to hear more impressions and more accents from you. If you didn't know that about Kat, I will let you know right now. Kat is an ex-actress. Is that right?
It is, yes, very much ex. I mean, I'm quite old now. We'll keep the exact number under wraps. But yes, in my youth,
she's not old.
I was a performer, yes.
You were a performer. How long did you do that? And
well, since I was a kid.
Since you were a kid, were you like a child star?
Well, not a star.
In commercials and...
Sadly not. No, I was more theatre-based, actually. I always liked the live performance, and I was a singer, so I liked to sing.
A child actor in theatre?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Is that a thing? Nice.
And she's all in. Lazarova.
Lazarova ships it all in, and she will get the fold, I would expect.
Yes.
Josip Fob to fold his 8 high.
Absolutely the right move from her. And, I mean, every pot counts now, doesn't it? I mean, it's 100k to your stack. So she's added more than 10% of her total chip stack just by doing this.
Yeah. So good job by her, showing that she's not afraid of putting it in and just keeping the pressure up.
I think she has actually repeatedly proved that truth since this table has started, to be honest. she's definitely taken spots that feel very uncomfortable. So she is not afraid.
She has been playing fantastically, and she has made it to the final 5 with definitely a lot of pep still in her step.
Certainly.
So, tell us more about the acting job. How long did you do that for?
A long time, actually. I think my first acting role was when I was about 5 or 6, and then
What was that? Do you remember it?
yeah, it was just in part of the company as one of the chorus, the kids, you know, the little ones that come on,
Yeah.
prancing about in silly costumes, and I just loved it, and so I kept doing it till I was around 21, 22.
So for about 15 years you were an actor, and
Yeah, sure.
what decided you? Why did you decide to like
It's a hard
move
job.
towards another direction?
It's just a very, very hard job. It's emotionally very difficult. It's hard to find work. You find yourself doing not so great jobs to kind of make ends meet in between finding half decent acting jobs. So it's a tough industry. You have to have an absolute soul of rock to be a professional actor, and I don't think I was kind of made for it, really. You know, I have friends who far outstrip me, and they're very successful now. They've had long-term careers. They're in their late 30s, and they've been working since they were 10 or 11 years old. So they had a commitment level that just wasn't open to me. And I think it's the same with poker. You know, you have to. There's an element of that in poker where you have to bring, however hard it beats you down, however cruel it is to you, you have to just keep coming back and firing off bullets. And I think I'm more comfortable in the poker world than I ever was in the performance world. So I made the move.
All right. Do you think it's come to like advantage at a poker table for you?
I think the level of confidence that being an actor it generally brings out of you is definitely helpful. Being a female in a very male-dominated environment can be very intimidating, and I have quite a high confidence level, so that certainly helps. And also, when you study people to try and recreate human emotions, I think that helps you to recognise when people have emotions and the way they behave under certain levels of duress. In live poker, I think that helps. In terms of online, probably not at all. The resilience helps in all areas of poker. Just you get knocked down and you get back up again, and you have to do that in acting and poker, and to be fair, quite a lot of other careers as well.
That is absolutely awesome. That's just so interesting to me.
Cool. Well,
yeah,
that's good. But
it
you're
is,
an
it is
actor
cool.
now. You're a current actor. I mean, you're a young man. You're just starting out.
Struggling actor, but
yeah,
I
there
am.
you go. Well, all actors are struggling, darling, until
Yeah,
until the big one
exactly.
comes. I'm afraid that's it's the life you're signing up for. If you want to be super rich, then I wouldn't say acting is the career for you. Poker's probably a better option. If money's ever a goal for you, then acting might not be the field.
That is absolutely true, and it's beautiful in a way. I mean, it is. The struggles, there's something romantic about it. I love the struggles, especially in poker as well. I mean, it's mostly a grind, and it's not just balling with these high roller tournaments, and this is a lot of the times people get misinterpreted about the actors that it's an easy life. You just do a gig. A year you get a couple million, and
Sure, yeah. I mean, if you're at the absolute top of the acting profession, then maybe it could be said to be an easy life. That's not something I can comment on because I was very much at the bottom echelon.
And I'm
so.
very sure that the top actors didn't just get there by
No.
accident.
Oh,
they have
no, none
there's
of
a
them
lot
did.
of hard work that goes into their skill and their profession. So. As it is with every single profession, if you want to be on top of the world, you need to be absolutely
Grafty.
absolutely with a wonderful work ethic and everything.
So Piano Cat says, I've got some catching up to do. You're just opening your first beer. Come on, Piano Cat. No excuses. We've been
Get
drinking
on
for
our
hours.
level. Get on our level, Piano Cat.
Lightweight. Come on.
I'm not gonna say that it's weak, but it's weak for now. So you better start catching up.
And no
We'll
umbrella.
see.
Just open your umbrella. Just go and get your umbrella out of the umbrella stand in the hallway and just pop it open. That's what I did.
This is more torch. You feel like Anger has been playing a bit too tight, but this is something you see with most recreational players. You don't see always the most optimal way of playing poker, and it has definitely worked out for Anger, and he has felt that this is the most optimal way for him to pursue the final table, and he's in the final 5, and
But I think it's a good indication that one of the great things and the great equalizers, the great levelers about poker is, honestly, it doesn't actually matter how you play. You could genuinely be the worst player in the world, making the opposite decision from game theory optimal poker at every possible point, and you can actually still make a final table. You
can
actually
still win the final
win
table.
a tournament.
We have seen it countless times.
Sure.
We have seen Cherry Yang win the WSOP main event.
Yeah.
We have seen Jamie Gold win. I mean, there are so many more examples from the smaller field tournaments especially, but we have seen it on the biggest stage with the best playing professionals. This is not it's not likely to happen, but it's still, and these players here, they have been playing quite decently. Besides a couple of mistakes, they haven't been playing awfully.
No,
I would
not
never
at
say.
all.
I think all of these players, you see Anger shoving all in there from the small blind with his ace-7.
The right move, 100%.
Yeah, and I think they are playing very decent poker. Yes, we don't have any like hardcore superstars here, but still, I mean, all of these players are very capable players.
Absolutely.
And once you have reached like this certain level in poker, when you're running well, when things are going your way, then even the best players cannot play against you, just because things are just going your way, and these players are all definitely capable of and as we are all watching and we see the whole cards, and it's so much easier to comment and say that, oh, you made a mistake here or there, because when you're playing at the table, the dynamics, the pressure, the cameras themselves, they just put immense pressure on you, and it's much easier to get tunnel visioned into making just more basic and standard decisions.
Yeah, I just think it's one of my favourite things about poker. It's why I'm a massive advocate of the lower stakes tournaments. I have never played a tournament with a buy-in more than €1,000, and I have never played a tournament with a directly buying into more than €200, ever. And what I love about low-stakes poker is the lack of seriousness. You know, it's definitely a more fun angle. Play your cards how you want. A little bit more gambling and a little bit more luck, but also a lot more being social, having fun, meeting new people. And that's kind of the philosophy of the MPN. So if you want from a poker tournament the highest stakes and the highest prize pools and the absolute nuts of players, you want to play against the best players in the world, then sorry, the MPN is not for you. It just isn't. The MPN Poker Tour isn't your bag. If you don't want to spend 50 hours a week studying push-fold charts and boring maths, and you like having a beer, and you like going to different places and seeing the culture and having a holiday, then the MPN PT is very much for you. And that, what I'm pleased to say, is that's now the majority of poker players. These boring pros have all gone into crypto and lost their money. So come and play the MPN PT and just have a laugh. Like, who cares about the poker? If you make the final, brilliant, great, you get some money. If you don't make the final, all the guys, or a big chunk of the guys who busted yesterday, are now on a catamaran in the middle of the sea, getting drunk and swimming around. So that's the philosophy of our tournament. So yeah, we're not going to try and pretend these are the best players in the world and we're the best commentators and this is the best of everything. It isn't. It's just probably the most fun, I would say.
I agree, and this is the weirdest mindset I see from these, like, sometimes armchair analysts or like wannabe Tom Third ones. They get angry when players don't play the optimal way or kind of like maybe make mistakes. This is not something to get angry about. This is something that you should embrace, that there are still players who don't spend 50 hours a week learning push-fold charts and then just play for the fun of it, and they play well. I mean, you put these players against like someone who just starts, or like every single regular like casino tournament, these are winning players there.
Sure.
They are all winning players, obviously. So, and they have made the final table and the final five. So I just applaud it, and I with open hands welcome the fact that it has this recreational recreational vibe to this.
I'm just quite interested in the physics of how you applaud with open hands. Like,
I applaud and then I open my. I first applaud and then I open my hands and say welcome here.
Right,
in my world of little Christian mind, I accept every one
What a
of
lovely
you.
world that must be. It's slightly full of monsters, no doubt.
a lot of them, but.
Oh, hello. Chip leader at it again.
Vostok finds another good hand, but he
Ace
keeps
jack
on
in
like
the
losing
small.
chips, unfortunately. He's
He
down
does.
to 2.7 million, and he has found a customer in the Estonian in a way that Fomitsa will fold. So he gets the gets the blind, the big blind, and the antis, adds 100k to his stack. Definitely not what you want to see happen when you have ace jack suited.
In the small blind versus the big blind. No, unfortunately not. But it's kind of probably what he must have expected. I mean, we haven't seen a huge amount of action.
I would feel a bit tilted that I'm getting all these good hands against the tightest player at the table.
It is true.
It is like, I know I can steal here almost any 2 cards, so why are you telling me this good hand? It's a waste.
Give me this under the gun.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he, unfortunately, the few times he has opened weak, or weaker, lighter, should we say, he's been shoved on by a very short stack and then been kind of pinned into a call, and it's not a mistake, his call, even though he had the weaker hand. So I do feel a bit sorry for Bostock, but equally that said, he has been chip leader and he has been dealt some really nice hands. I mean, we've all had situations where you're chip leader, you come to the table and you get dealt nothing. You're looking at 7-4 offsuit for like 3 hours. So
for sure, and he still has a very healthy stack. I think he's still the chip leader, or at least the second place with a very close margin. So nothing disastrous happening right now for him. So there's nice ground to keep going forward from. So.
And just on the point of being a new or inexperienced player, do check out that red bar at the bottom of the screen. That is a gentle reminder of the 32 red 5k free roll, which is happening on the 12th of August at 8 p.m. BST. So do check that out. You will need to register for the site, put your details on there, and have a little poke around. Definitely worth a play. Nick Diaz is the poker manager for 30 Red, and he puts some lovely value for his players. And you can also start qualifying for the next MPN PT event, which is happening in Malta at the end of October. Those satellites are running now, and I'm going to say that the package satellite has started, so it's well worth getting involved.
So getting the Battle of Malta is going to be a sick one, absolutely
so
sick one. 1 million euros guaranteed. Meanwhile, Bostock raises up. The blinds are now 30 and 60,000 with a 10k ante, so quite a hefty ante in there. So even more merit to start raising and still in both.
12k ante? Wow, that's really...
Is that 12k?
Really...
I think it's 10k. I think I mispronounced.
Okay, 30, 60
and
with
10k ante.
Yeah, it is hefty.
It's still a very, very sizable ante. Almost one third of the small blind.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly deep stack tournament. This tournament has a 30k starting stack, and we've had 311 players in this event. So there are a good few chips in play.
Did you play the main as well?
I'm not allowed to play the main. I
really?
run one of the skins on microgaming called Red Bet, and it's a microgaming poker network rule that the poker managers are not allowed to play in the main events. We are allowed to play the side events, but not the main events. It's their rule, and I'm okay with it. I mean, I would love to play a main event, but that's just their rule.
But you understand the rule, and
yeah, it's fine. I mean, I do see it. It would be awkward, perhaps, say if I got heads up in a main event with one of my customers and beat them. That's not a great look. So I do respect the rule, and that's just how it is. But I definitely recommend anyone play the main event.
And as we know, you have been making a lot of heads up lately.
Oh,
and working on your heads up game.
Rub downs. Yeah, I make heads up in Fish Party quite a lot, I have to say. If you don't know what Fish Party is, that's the 3-handed hyper turbo game on microgaming with the jackpot function, and I make heads up quite a lot. I don't win very often, and they are winner takes all. I think one of my favourite things about MPN is that I would bring my mum here. I swear to God, or my little brother who doesn't play much poker, and I would maybe not say the main event because it's quite a steep buy-in for someone who's brand new, but I could bring them along with me while I play the main event if I wasn't working for MPN, and they could play a side event, you know, or go on the VIP trips that the company organises. This tour to me has always been really family orientated, and players prove it. They turn up with their partners and their kids. The kids stay in the hotel. You know, the tournament organiser, Richard, he specifically will find hotels that are suitable for people to do that, you know. So we're not trying to be serious. We're trying to be holidays and bring your family and have fun.
My mother played poker for the first time like a couple months ago, and she was instantly hooked. She was always super skeptical of the lifestyle I've chosen with that has a lot of poker in it.
Sure.
And she always saw it as like a gambling, and you know, casinos, they don't have the best of reputations.
No, that is true, sadly.
Especially when you've never been into one. And she was always very skeptical in my being involved with poker, but she was instantly hooked. She played for the first time, and the only thing she said, "Oh, I love this game, but I hate it. There was this one dude at the table who raised every hand. Why do you have to take the fun out of the game? Like, why do you have to raise all the time?"
I love it. What do you think your mum would say about the raise to 130k there from Famitsa?
Would she have approved with another, I think she would. Even she would have approved this one.
Is that Chris's
but
mum approved?
If it was her, I would. I think she would limp in and try to just play the pot and not take the fun away from the other players by raising it. But even she would. Even she would appreciate the raise there. Famitsa with another pair of tens. That's third or fourth time he's got tens now.
Absolutely. He's had some hands.
He's had a lot of hands.
And I'm very interested in Famitsa's strategy. I think what playing a lot of poker teaches you, like at first it's really easy to be super critical, and anyone who's not playing aces, you're kind of, oh, why are you playing that? What's going on? What are you doing? And then when you played loads of poker, I think you start to doubt yourself a little bit, and you're like, wow, maybe he's got a strategy or a level of reasoning that I don't even understand.
Yeah.
You know? And that's kind of how I feel about Famitsa right now. Is like, does he understand a part of the game that I'll never know about? Because
the moment you think you have someone figured out is the moment that you open the door for them to outplay you.
Sure.
Lazarova goes
Into
all
the
in,
chip lead.
and I
Oh,
think
she's
Bostock
probably
will
gonna
call.
get a call here.
I think he will call, and he will be flipping against Lazarova.
Flipping with her advantage, to be
Yeah.
fair. It's like 55 at least.
Good thing for Lazarova is that she does hold the ace of diamonds, which makes it a slightly less of a chance that he will hit the flush, but still, scary situation to be in. King or a 10, and we lose our only female player left in 5th place, but still, first he needs to hit King or a 10. That is a very good flop. That is a fantastic flop for her. 5, 7, 8 gives her a gut shot straight draw. 6 would give her a straight. Ooh, that is an action card. She doesn't want to see it at 6 now. 6 or a jack will give Bostock a straight, or a king or a 10 will give him a pair.
She survives
and she survives. The Cat Arnsby run good still remains.
Oh yes,
I
always
think
the underdog.
Our shortest stacks have been doing well in a sense of doubling up. I don't think we've ever seen a shortest stack just bust.
Well,
it's
that
always
can't
been
be
somewhere
true
in.
If we're logically Christian,
no,
otherwise
I mean,
we'd still have 311
No, what I
plays
meant is we haven't seen the shortest stack of the table be the one who bust. We've always seen some middling stacks.
Sorry, I'm being cruel to you there. English is not your first language, and I'm mocking you.
Yes,
but also
you
I
are
really
mocking
enjoy
me.
mocking you. Like, I don't know what to say about that.
But
so Anger's back in that position again. He's back to short stack boy. So now he has my underdog run good handed to him. Although I don't think he really needs it. I mean, the guy's been he is like a cockroach at this table. You cannot kill Anger.
We cannot say the same for Bostock, though. He's been losing a lot of those big pots, unfortunately for him. He's been chipping up by stealing here and there, but now he's getting in that position where you can't lose any more of those all-ins, or you're crippled or out of this tournament, because Josifov has taken the chip lead from him now.
He has, and honestly, I don't really see that Bostock has done anything
Nothing wrong.
No, I mean, you and I had a bit of an argument / disagreement about him folding kings on the ace-high board when it ran to the river, blah, blah, blah. But other than that, I mean, to me, he's just played perfect.
Yeah, he's playing very well.
And you can see the frustration, that kind of...
He's not happy about it.
No, and he shouldn't be. Like, at this point, he probably feels like this should have been over an hour ago.
At some point, you need to win one of those, and you're just losing and losing.
Keeps getting the 60-40s not going his way. And, I mean, you know, really, you should be winning 4 out of 10 of your 60-40s.
And this is why you try to take advantage of these spots where you are the chip leader and you have a chance to take advantage of these players and raise it up. In case you start losing, and in case you lose like 3 or 4 of these, you still have something left to play with. Because poker can be very cruel.
Poker is vicious sometimes, but also it can be so beautiful.
Oh, yeah. And there is a lot of beauty in this viciousness as well, I think. The fact that at one point it goes you can do nothing wrong, and the other time it's just a struggle. It's beautiful.
We've got an interloper in the comms booth here. We've got George from Microgaming, who appears to be raiding the merch. Are you stealing, George?
George.
He's stealing. Wow.
Just takes a handful of hats.
We've caught him in the act. I think he's actually putting some merch on the fish party table. If you didn't know that, one of the extra bits of value at the Microgaming Tour is that we have three-handed fish party live. Now, if you've been on any of the rooms, you'll have seen fish party on the sites, which is three-handed hyper-turbo jackpot games. So you spin up, a randomly awarded prize is given to the game, and three of you battle it out for a winner-takes-all scenario. And we decided it was so good, we now have Fish Party live at our live events. And the game tends to get the biggest rail in the room, doesn't it, Chris?
For sure. You always have the biggest gallery there, and people take it very seriously. I mean, I don't think I've ever played as serious as I did when I was playing for the hoodie. It was just... crazy, and it's so much fun. I still haven't had a chance to play it here, but I really want to do it.
Well, we're going to play after after the final table. You and I are going to have a little fish party
battle. I hope that it's still going to go on, and we get a chance to play for the hoodie.
We'll find a third player, and I'll deal.
All
we'll
right.
self-deal the tournament.
Sounds
Old
good.
School.
Old school.
In the early noughties, when you could self-deal live tournaments.
And you can actually win like quite nice prizes. It's not only like caps or hoodies, which are awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
It's my favorite caps and hoodies ever. And but you can win a package, one of the MPN stops. You can even win a package to Battle of Malta, I think.
Yeah.
With not just the ticket included, but the housing and the hotel room and the side event.
Side event, dinner while you play the main event, so like 4 players parties. Yeah, it's going to be a really sick week, so definitely get involved in qualifying for the next event, because it's the Microgaming Poker Tour's first attempt at this. It's not just us next time. We are partnering up, and it's going to be 550 buy-in into 1 million guaranteed. Yes.
1 million. Look at that for a setup, by the way.
Oh, hello.
2 players, and Lazarova has flop top 2 with Queen 10, and Postak must feel quite comfortable with his pair of queens, having opened up with Queen 7 of clubs, and there are a lot of draws in there that Lazarova can have, a lot of 10s. So let's see how Lazarova proceeds here with her top 2 and 98%. Just running 7s would do for Postak.
I quite like just a call here myself.
I think she raised.
I think she raised.
It looks like a raise.
Yeah, so
275.
That was spooky. Jinx. Jinx.
And Postak is going nowhere.
Oh, crikey.
No way. Did he put him all in?
Yeah, I'm not loving the all in.
And the bad luck for Postak continues, and he will be our shortest stack should some miracle not happen. Like running kings, running aces, and running 7s are the only one to save Postak here. That is a check. Running checks as well. Only a check will do it for Postak. And that's not a check. Postak loses, and not a massive pot. And Lazarova is our new chip leader. The biggest story of this tournament yet. And she has been down to 1 big blind. She has been to chip leader many times. And once more, she has doubled up twice in the past 6 hands.
Wow. No, Bostock is not. He's now our short
is our shortest stack with 12 big
sick
blinds.
For the guy. Although I'm not 100% sure about that action on the flop there. I like her raise. I'm not sure I love his all in.
Me neither. Well,
I mean, I suppose she has all the flush draws she can call him with, but I don't know. Maybe why not just flat wait for the turn?
Just play some turns and.
Yeah, because every hand that she calls him with, believing she's ahead, she's right.
And maybe Postak figured that maybe Lazarova will fold something like King Queen or Queen Jack, but I'm not even sure that Lazarova would raise those hands. No. It's either like 2 pairs or sets or like couple of combo draws, or maybe something like Ace Jack or Jack 8, like for a gut shot that you need to play aggressive. That you're not getting.
Do you think it might be one of those cases? Maybe this is just me, but I know this happens to me a lot. One of these cases where you just convince yourself they have the hand you want them to have.
Yeah.
So he convinces himself she must be on a draw. She's check raised, but it's quite a small check raise. I'm gonna commit to this top pair and hope she doesn't get there. And he hasn't really properly ranged. He hasn't really thought it through. He's frustrated. He's had a few beats. He's kind of getting battered in an unfair way. So now he's got to a point where he just has to convince himself they have the hand I want them to have.
I would think it's just a lot of frustration happening. You can see it here. I don't think 10-9 offsuit is a proper shove here, but it just feels like he needs to make something happen.
He's my underdog now, so he deserves the underdog run good, and it looks like he's kind of got it in a bit in that he picks up 100k right there.
Yeah, but
so
I guess it has more to do with the fact that he has lost a lot of his stack. He's now the shortest stack, instead of him thinking that it's the correct play right now, that I should always shove 11 big blinds with 10-9 offsuit there.
That said, I mean, if we do account for the fact that he does have two super tight players to his immediate left, a player who hasn't, in Lazarov, she hasn't demonstrated a tendency to go Bulu and just call with anything. So I don't know. I don't hate the shove with 9-10 there. I really don't. It's got, if he does get called, he's really only getting called by a really premium hand, and it's got fairly healthy equity against a really premium hand. So I don't hate it. And I feel his frustration so much. I might go and give him a cuddle.
Yeah, he seems like he's a bit frustrated. Dan Jones thinks that it's an ICM shove, but I get what you mean by that. But I think that Lazarova is just not going to raise him light there. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that Lazarova is not going to be balanced there, and she's mostly going to have strong or very strong draws. Like strong hands or very strong draws, which are not going to fold. I don't think she's going to 3-bet to fold there that often. So what I mean by that, I think that Lazarova does not wake up with Jack-8 offsuit or Ace-Jack offsuit there.
Does Dan Jones means, though, that Lazaro should fold a lot more hands based on the fact that there was a shorter stack in the game?
I think that's what I think that's what he's saying, but having the hand go the way it has.
Oh, and again for Bostock, under the gun
calls
from Fomitsa. I mean,
the way things have been going, I wouldn't be surprised to see a king high flop there. Yeah,
wow.
Well,
This is
there is a king there, couple of aces as well, but
mind you, I feel like Fomitsa's the kind of player you can push off this.
Exactly. You
okay, cool.
Either push off or who is not going to take enough value from that situation. Yeah, 100k, Bostock is going to call that one.
Got to, really. Mind you,
and
if he ships,
would
I feel
be interesting
like
to see.
Call. Fold, sorry.
I would guess so as well. But you have no reason to ship there. Only thing you're trying to get off is king queen, and now they're splitting
chopping.
it. They're chopping it up. Both players are playing aces and kings with a queen kicker.
Can they bluff him off a chop?
But if Fomitsa pets here, yeah, I think Bostock might even fold. Maybe not with the mindset he has. Yeah, 120
is that, or 120?
120
no, he can't fold to 120 then.
He's not happy about it, but you have to call.
He must realise he's chopping with all the kings now. Apart from obviously pocket kings, which is very unlikely.
He's calling to chop, but he's getting decent enough odds to chop, because I think Bostock has figured out that Fomitsa is not bluffing here.
No. And it makes me really interested in Bostock's play, because we did see him fold pocket kings on an ace-high board in the exact spot correctly to Fomitsa in a way that I personally believe he should have been calling. So I'm really interested to see him call there, because you would think, oh, he just thinks Fomitsa's a nit, so he's folding to every bet, and that clearly isn't the case, because he's made a pretty good call there. And we saw him do, you described it as an absolute soul read, where he floats with 8 high, check, turn, and then
takes it down on the river.
It on the river, yeah.
There's definitely something interesting going on between those two players.
And he's instantly ground himself up, and you can see the difference between just really knitting up when you're the short stack and still trying to have a little bit of life in you, because Bostock, within 2 hands, has pulled himself from being the shortest stack to being equal, just slightly ahead of the shortest stack.
He is... what I've seen from him, he's not going to go down without a fight, and he's either going to have a big stack sometime soon, or at least maintain his stack. He's not going to get chipped down to something like 5 big blinds.
I'm going to stick my neck out and say, in my opinion, Bostock has been and still is the best player at this table for the day. Even though he had chip lead and, makes your life a bit easier.
Not to take away from the other players. I think the best player at the table left at 6th place, and Bostock is the best player left at this table. But as is quite often the case with poker, the best players
doesn't always win,
and the best moves don't always work out.
No. I think Spazov was a very strong player as well. I think I'm just a little bit in love with Lazarov. I mean, she's just, I love her heart. She's got massive balls. I think she's got the biggest balls at the table, even though she's the only woman.
Lazarov has been playing fantastically as well.
Never afraid, which is great to see.
I agree with you.
Yeah, and Fomitster, I don't want to say he's weak. I just don't understand him, and that's not the same thing. I'm not saying he's bad. I just don't.
I don't want to bash on a guy, but
no,
this is a sick setup against Yosifov. Should a hard come as well, but Fomitsa has pretty much flopped him dead, with a possibility of both players getting super cooler there. Should a hard come off, Fomitsa with a top pair of queens and a queen high flush draw. Yosifov with a 10 high flush draw, both very strong hands. Yosifov goes for a very tiny bet. I kind of get why Yosifov bets tiny there, because I guess Yosifov thinks that Fomitsa, if he didn't hit this board, he's going to fold anyway. He's not going to make like random floats with 8-9 or something like that.
Do you think there's any chance he's even thinking about a 3-bet jam if he gets raised? So if Fomitsa tries to get tricky,
no,
he's just.
I think Yosifov is going to call here.
Okay.
Wait, Fomitsa called. It looked like a raise.
Just called. No, yeah.
And that is an interesting turn guide. Yosifov, I would like to see him put some pressure on.
I would have liked to see Yosifov bet that turn. He picks up more equity, unbelievably. So
and bomb it, and that is a definition of a blocker bet if I've ever seen one.
Yeah,
110,000, tries to kind of get away with it, doesn't want to see a bigger bet, and not. As you said, I don't want to bash on any players, but Fomitsa has a very unique style at least.
Certainly does, but it's working for him. So
it is working for him.
That's why I'm a bit reluctant to be negative.
But the fact that it's I'm still gonna say that the fact that it's working for him
doesn't
necessarily mean it's a good style. Just because I would think that if any other player at this table had his cards, his opportunities, his setups, they would have a lot more than he has right now.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it, not to say that he's an awful player or anything like that. It's just that I think that out of those 5 players, he's clearly the weakest, from what I've seen. And weakest doesn't mean he's weak. It just means that the other players are outclassing him at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't feel like he's developed much during the table. I mean, for example, on that last pot, I wasn't a huge fan of the river bet there, really. That would have been a lovely spot to let your opponent bluff what could be huge draws, and definitely loads of worse hands are gonna bluff you there. So just the little things like that.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of the time it comes down to like small details and small advantages that you have to fight for yourself.
Yeah, the all-in pots are quite often no-brainers.
Exactly, most often than not, then they are no-brainers.
Yeah, it's the little grinding pots that build you up and add to your stack.
And we have made it to this grinding stage. Every pot is so important at this moment, and players feel it. You have every second hand you have blind in front of you, pretty much. So you need to be fighting to survive.
And we can see how ridiculously quickly it all changes. I mean, just 5 hands ago,
Bostock was our chip leader.
Was the super chip leader, and now he's battling for the short stack position with Anger. So it's a crazy game, this game that we love, isn't it, Chris? Crazy game.
I agree. And what a different road Bostock and Anger have had to be in the same chip situation.
Yeah, it's so
Anger
weird.
is just kind of in there and sometimes wins an all-in. And Bostock has been struggling, fighting almost every pot he's in there.
Yeah, really, really tooth and claw with Bostock. As chip leader, as a shorter stack, he's really, really battled.
I think Anger is going to have to shove this one in.
Has to be done, surely. Really?
You cannot fold
Buddy,
this
you can't fold queen high there. Angerman.
So much body language tells that people give up.
He's seen that Lazarov is not afraid to call him with Jack-6. So he really needs to be shoving these 10 bigs here. I'd love to see her just go, boom, screw you. Maybe that's what he's planning. He's hoping that she'll put the pressure on.
But I don't think Queen Jack offsuit is a hand you should be trapping with.
Trap calling, no, I don't love it.
Because you're behind a couple of her bluffs as well with something like King 4.
Yeah.
But Lazarova gets to see a flop for free. And let's see if it works out for Anger. It certainly
Not so
looks like that. Queen 10-5, not much for Lazarova though, but the
No.
top pair for Anga.
And sometimes that's what you need to see, isn't it, Chris? So you actually just want a board that doesn't get you into trouble. I mean, she can easily just get rid of this now.
Yeah.
And if she hits, so if the flop was Queen 9-9, I mean, he loses all his money in a way that he didn't need to. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I would rather have just seen his 10 bigs. Got
Just
in the
go
pot
in
with
there
Queen
and-
high, blind on blinds.
I agree with you.
Yeah, fear is expensive in the long run in poker.
In
and
poker especially.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a little bit what we're seeing from Anga. It's a little bit of fear. He just really doesn't want to go out. And the sad truth of tournament poker is, I say sad truth, and the best bit in a lot of ways, is sometimes you just have to put your life on the line. You've got to get that buzz, you've got to get that adrenaline flowing, and get your chips in, and just clench your buttocks and hope for the best.
I cannot agree with you more. As we change the dealers,
Bye-bye, dealer.
we
Have a
see
nice day.
left hand of Mary. There, our tracker,
Oh,
who
is
is
that
making.
Mary?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's Mary.
She's a lovely lady.
Yeah, and we can thank her for the fact that we have graphics on this table. And the other head we saw was Matt, our director for this stream.
Ooh.
So TV stream team working hard as always. We haven't had any like anything bad happen as well. Everything has been running smoothly and perfectly, I think.
Oh, what have you said that for?
Ah, you think
Just
I jinxed it?
invite the demon. I mean, I'm not even a
Oh, look at that.
Instantly, the next
Instantly.
hand, none of the
We
cards.
can't see any cards.
Right. No more of that, please.
All right,
Chris.
all right. I'll take it
Honestly.
all back.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
sucks. Lazarova finds King 3 offsuit.
Oh, she's just limped. Oh, okay, sorry. I thought she was button. I'm being crazy. She's small blind. That's fair enough.
And Yosifov will check his option.
King high flop's going to be expensive, Lazarov.
Yeah, we will see a flop heads up with two of the biggest stacks left. Queen 5, 7, 2 diamonds. None of those players have any diamonds though. King 8 high still good for Yosifov. Josifov.
Boom, and he smashes the 8 on the turn.
Yeah. Locks up the pot unless Lazarova finds a way to bluff him out of it.
Oh, she's
Check.
thinking it. Oh, no, I thought she was going for
Ooh.
chips. Oh, hello. That's a nice
6
card
of
to have a little
spades.
bluff for, isn't it, from the small blind?
And one more time, sorry, Twitch chat, if we haven't been very responsive. We have lost connection with you. We don't want to be away from you. We don't want to ignore
We miss
you.
you already.
We miss you already.
Yeah.
We're trying to reconnect to the Twitch chat.
But the Wi-Fi has been working against us slightly, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's not our best friend.
It hasn't been our best friend at all. But at least we can still be here.
At least we still got each other, Chris.
Yes.
Yeah, there is that.
That small little good things happening in life. And just as I said, nothing is going wrong. Everything
Yeah, well
tends
done.
to go wrong.
Just
You were-
absolute jinxer. I mean, I don't know why you'd say that, though.
it just kind of felt like, you know, when you're at a poker table and nothing can go wrong. I had the same feeling.
Now, I think that for Mitza, I don't want to call him out, but that was actually his fault. I mean, it's a key thing that the players, if you see those green, bluey squares, it's a key thing that the players put their cards clearly face down in those squares. I mean, it's great technology that we use, but it isn't actually a psychic crystal ball. So the cards do need to be registered for them to show on the screen. And we've had a few times where Mitza hasn't done that. So I'm expecting Mary to pop up in his ear fairly shortly and gently encourage him to behave himself.
Yeah, the cards do have like little microchips in them, and those green boxes are the ones who recognize and receive the information that what cards do the players hold, and unless you put them in that little green box, there is no way of knowing what those players are holding. King 10-10.
Not
Rainbow.
much for Bostock there,
Bostock.
which is probably good because his player has his opponent has a reasonable draw, given their heads up from the blinds.
Yeah.
A bet and a fold.
Queen
My
high
guess.
is fairly often good here, and in case it's not good, you can always rely on that jack hitting a turn or
Sure.
a spade.
Yep, straight equity, spade on the turn gives you a nice opportunity to carry on. Poor old Bostock. Now our short stack. He's got the short stack run. Good wishes.
Are you giving him the proper cut Arnsby run good.
I always vote for the underdog in my heart. So absolutely.
So
yeah.
you fully commit to that.
Oh
You're,
sure, yeah.
All right.
It doesn't matter who it is. If they've got the smallest stack at the table, I always want them to do well because it's horrible being the short stack. It is.
It is.
In a sense, it's easier. Your decisions are easier, but the feel in your heart and soul when you're the short stack. I mean,
Especially
look at his jaw.
coming from the biggest stack and just massively dominating the final table. And
look at his face, though. I mean, he was.
he's not happy.
No, and I wouldn't be in his spot. I really wouldn't. He hasn't done anything wrong. He's just got fairly unlucky in the bigger pots.
But that is, of course, like at this moment. Should he even bust in fifth? Like, give him a couple of days and he will be happy with the run. It's whenever you get fifth place in a 300+ entry tournament, it's not really a bad result,
No.
is it? Of course, you want to. You were the chip leader. You were already like counting the money you had and thinking about playing for the title. It's still a very real possibility, but it must hurt a bit more coming from the
definitely.
chip leader.
I get the feeling Bostock is not a green player. It's not his first rodeo.
No.
So, he'll have seen it. He understands the game. He knows it can go for him or against him. So Lazarova, she's up and at him with 5 deuce offsuit from the cutoff. Like we said, she is not afraid. She was not afraid as a short stack. She was not afraid as a mid stack, and she is not afraid as the chip leader.
Not at all. And
Go on, love.
She's pushing it, and it's working out for her. I'm kind of rooting for her now. First of all, it's always nice to have a female player win, because just because of the fact, not because of females should get like a better treatment, but because of the fact we have so much less female players,
Sure.
and the more female players there are, the better for everybody.
Absolutely. I mean, female players tend to form 5 to 7% of most live fields.
Which is criminally small amount,
It
because
is.
there is no advantage male players have over female
No,
players.
not at all. I mean, there are some social advantages. We could get into that, but that's a different topic, I
But
guess.
the social advantage is because of the fact that there are so many less female players.
Well,
isn't it?
I think part of it as well, Chris, you've got to remember that men generally, certainly in Western Europe, are cultured to be a little bit more aggressive, to enjoy and compete in competitive play from a very young age, whereas females as women tend to be cultured a little bit away more to nurturing games and that side of society. So it's not about biological inherent sexism, it's about conditions in our society that exist. So that's quite often why it's just that often women they don't enjoy the environment so much. They don't want to be in an aggressive environment where games are played and egos are brought out on the table. So it takes a particular type of woman. Boom, Bostock, he's a particular type of woman. There he is, with his massive biceps, chips. Those big arms were made for lifting chips, and in they go.
Finds the perfect hand to be against as well. Dominates the jack 8, gets them the fold, and picks up the blinds, antes, and the raise.
Unfortunately, that does remove him from the short stack run good and puts it back on anger, which has worked for him very well.
But I love the fact that he's not afraid.
Clearly
where other players might have folded the king jack, I think I can fairly certainly say that Anger would have folded his king jack. Bostock just goes for it and takes down like 4 big blinds, just like that.
And it adds up.
It does add up.
You cannot underestimate the power of adding 4 or 5 big blinds to your stack every time.
Oh yeah, for sure. It definitely, especially when you have like 10 big blinds, it's like 50% of your stack. What was that?
I don't know
What's
what
that expression?
A little dance, a little give me the chip sort of rain dance. I don't know, but I enjoyed it. Whatever it was, I quite enjoyed it. I think he should make that his animated Facebook avatar.
Twitch chat, don't hate us, please. I've been trying to refresh the Twitch page for about 20 times now. Still no luck as of now, but...
He's whacking that internet like a teenager watching porn, I promise you. It's insane.
But I still have faith that we will be back
We'll get there.
with you, chat. Which doesn't mean that you should stop commentating. Just get your thing going there.
Yeah, we'll
Form
catch
some
up.
friendships and we will catch up, exactly.
Can we get it on our phones, Chris? Is that a thing? Yeah, no, really. My phone's gone off the Wi-Fi as well, so I think we have some verified Wi-Fi issues. So sorry about that, guys. The stream's coming to you. We're plugged into the wall, the old school way. We actually used wires. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable.
Wires. I know.
In 2018,
Wires are still a thing.
Well, my phone might it actually connect. I don't know how, but
Are you burning through your data? Well, see, this is how
I
committed
don't have
we are
data.
to talking to Twitch chat. Chris
Yeah,
is burning
yeah.
through his data to say hello.
Just forget about
It's amazing.
past 10 seconds. Yes, I am burning through my data. I'm committing fully.
No, it's not working on there either.
Nope. Anyway. The things are how they are. Nothing we can do about it except moan and complain.
No, and
And-
that's, I mean, to be fair, that's one of my favourite games. Poker's my favourite game, and moaning
And
complaining is my
complaining.
second
That's so much
favourite
fun
game.
to do, isn't it?
It is so much. And I'm British as well. I mean, that's kind of... Okay, we've got to see Anger all in here. Yes,
Ooh.
nice. Okay. Ooh.
We might. No, we're not going to see Lazarova call.
Not when she's not closing, I don't think.
I
Although
think
she
when
might
she's
have
in
just
the
had
big
enough
blind.
of this guy.
Maybe. She's tried twice already.
I don't
just
hate
considering
it.
it.
I don't hate it because...
I hate it just because you have
the
a big
impli-
stack behind you.
Well, but
and
the
you're risking
implied
725.
collusion, that other guy, no one has a big stack anymore. I mean, okay, she kind of does, but really everyone's in danger. The blinds are big, so...
I think it's even a fold from the big blinds.
Really?
It's close to
Wow.
it, especially against Anger. He's definitely hasn't shown capability or like willingness to put money in with a marginal hand. So Anger must have a good hand there. So
Yeah.
Ace-5 is not doing well.
Okay,
And in
I
small
see your
blind, I
point.
think it's a clear fold. Of course, I can see the hands one more time. I don't know if Lazarova is even up to date with the way Anger has been played, but Lazarova has taken your run good and ran away with it completely. She does hit the ace finally. Third time's the charm. Takes out Anger in 5th place. Anger takes down 9,000 euros, and Lazarova adds to her chip lead.
Wow.
4.1 million now, and 68 big blinds. And this is something the players had been waiting for. I think it looks like Fomitsa is trying to get a deal going. Not sure if the players want to take him on it, but Fomitsa definitely brings it up with the players right now.
It looks like Lazarova, if there is a deal discussion, she's got some support that she's going to go and pull on, which is pretty common in poker tournaments if you're not used to watching tournaments at this stage. Players very commonly now talk to their friends, partners, backers, whoever, to kind of get some advice.
So try to put yourself in, like, let's say Lazarova's position. Would you make a deal here? Try to forget all the hands you've seen and just from what you felt from the table. Would you make a deal?
Hell no.
Never.
Not even slightly.
Never ever.
Would I even try?
The strongest player being the short stack, with one of the middle stacks being very, very tie passive. I mean, it's your chance to run away with it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And it's a shame that we lost P. Anger, to be honest. I quite enjoyed his little hanging in and running.
But the players are at least going to go and take a look at the deal. They're going to consider it. They're going to talk it through. We don't know if they're going to reach the deal or no. But they are going to take a 15-minute break and discuss it through. And I think it's a fair thing to do. At least, you know, take a look at the numbers. Maybe some of these players have backers. They need to
yeah, absolutely.
talk it through or over with.